Folks, let me tell you how hundreds of thousands were lost in seconds. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for the city of Toronto for week ending May the 7th, 2025. I was recently speaking with a gentleman who's got a serious situation they're dealing with. They had purchased a home, and I'm not sure if everybody knows the procedures, but just before, a few days before closing, the buyer's lawyer is going to ask for the deposit money that the bank is looking for in order to qualify for the mortgage, the land transfer tax, other closing costs, all that. Get the lawyer that represents the buyer needs that in their account, in the lawyer's account, before closing. If you think about $1 million purchase, and the bank wants 20% as a down payment in order for you qualifying for the mortgage, just in down payment, that's $200,000. So if you're buying for more, usually the down payment is much higher, right? So there's hundreds of thousands of dollars involved here. Well, most of the communication with the lawyer has been through email, through Zoom, and days before closing, the buyer and their lawyer had a meeting over Zoom and through email communications about what the final transfer, that amount needs to be to the lawyer's account. And so after that final meeting before closing, gentleman receives an email from the lawyer's assistant saying, transfer the money to such and such account. And that's what the gentleman does. He goes to the bank, transfers the money per the lawyer's assistant's instructions. And then this was at the end of the day, takes a copy of the bank teller receipt and sends it to his lawyer. Here, I've transferred the money. Next morning, he gets a call from the lawyer and says, hey, this is not my account. How did you get these account details? And the guy says, what are you talking about? It's your office, your assistant that sent this to me. And he says, this is not our account. We haven't sent you that information yet. And they start investigating further. And it looks like just the domain of the email has been changed just slightly from the lawyer's actual domain and email account. And so a quick glance, it looks like legitimately that email came from the lawyer, but it didn't. And the bank tellers, nobody caught this, and the money's gone. And now there's this investigation to try to figure this out. The crazy thing is, this is not the first time I've heard a similar situation like this. And so this gentleman has lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's trying to figure this out. Nobody knows what happened here, how it happened. And yet, to compound the situation, he's got a closing that needs to happen like now. And is the seller going to be forgiving? I know it's not really about the closing, but it's a part of the reality of this bad situation becoming worse because the seller is expecting the home to close on that date. It just compounds the situation. How's he going to close on a property where all his money's gone and disappeared, and investigations don't happen in a matter of hours? It could take days, weeks, months to figure this out, where all this money's gone, if he even gets compensation for that. I'm telling this story because in this day and age, with email communications, Zoom communications, everything's done electronically and digital these days, there are more and more stories of fraudulent situations and bad actors out there ready to pounce and take advantage of you. We need to be way more diligent than ever before. This gentleman had a happy situation. He's buying a house. He's spent a life saving money for the down payment, transfers the money, and then it's gone. A happy situation turns into a nightmare all of a sudden, just in a matter of a few seconds, just with the teller going, send, and that money's gone. So be diligent, be very, very careful, scrutinize everything. It's even difficult to answer a simple phone call these days. You wonder if it's a fraud, or to open up an attachment on an email. You got to not even think twice, think 3 times, 4 times before you open up an attachment on an email. Anyways, be careful, be diligent, and just scrutinize everything, especially when it comes to money. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that or go to tsre.ca. That'll take you directly to my calendar. Book a time and date that suits you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, go Leafs go.
Yep.
The series is getting really, really tight right now. Okay, let's get started. We are going to deal with City of Toronto freehold properties. Before that, though, I do want to bring everybody up to date. From time to time, I pull up the power of sales chart. This is for all the GTA, all home types, so it's not specific to freehold, just all home types in general. I track the properties that are listed under power of sales. The orange, that's the current year. The blue, that's the same period a year ago. These are tracked by month, and you could see power of sales are way up. And if we just focus on January to April this year versus 2024, the same period, power of sales are up 67%. But they were also up last year, 2024 to 2023, they were up from there. So power of sales are way up is the moral of this story here right now. Also, let's look at more historical type numbers. After this, my regular show, as you know, I break everything down on a weekly basis. This is the numbers, the data for City of Toronto detached properties broken down by month, going all the way back to 2020. So April 2025, let's look at sales figures first. 728 detached properties were sold in the City of Toronto. It's for the month of April. If we look at the beginning of the year, January, February, March, April, every month, more and more sales. Sales are trending upwards, which is what we expect, right? You come out of the Christmas season, you're in winter, January, February, March, April, May, June sometimes, we see sales trending upwards, headed into the spring months. That's a normal situation. But sales are a bit lower than what they've been the last few years. This time, April last year, we sold 750 detached properties. April before that, 2023, 761. So not a big difference, 761 to 728. But April 2022, which was peak season, 862. Before that, April 2021, 1,315. March was 1,422. So sales are way lower than where they used to be a few years ago, but pretty similar to where they were the last 3 years. Average sold price for April, average sold price of a detached property was $1,701,000. Compared to last year, we're 6.7% lower. Compared to 2023, 4.6% lower. Compared to peak pricing, basically, we're 12.6% lower. So we're almost 13% lower than where prices were in April 2022. if we compare to 2021, we're pretty much the same actually. We are 0.3% higher. I don't want to compare to 2020, which would be the year before that, because 2020 April was the first full month after everybody was told to stay home for COVID, because that was middle of March. So April was the first month. It's kind of weird to compare to April, but compared to April 2020, our current price of $1,701,000 compared to 2019, we are 25% higher than the average sold price in 2019. So just to give you an idea of where we stand over the previous few years. And now back to our regular programming. Average sold prices for detached semis in towns. I've got condos here. This is just for the city of Toronto. And just as a comparison, there's a $922,000 difference between the average condo price and the average detached price. I talk about condo pricing and data in tomorrow's show on Wednesday. Today, we're just focused on freehold. So for week ending May the 7th, for detached properties in the city of Toronto, 167 were sold. 40 of those were at $2 million or more. And overall, sales have been trending upwards. Average sold price kind of seems like it's going the other way. For week ending May the 7th, average sold price is $1,643,000. Overall, since the beginning of March, looks like average sold prices are trending downward. Compared to last year, 1,643 is 10% lower year over year. The median price of $1,360,000 is 8% lower. And if we kind of look as of March, and I'm looking at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, looks like average price and median price is slightly trending downward. 167 were sold. 74 of those, which is 44%, sold at list price or more. Listings, 592 were listed. Those are new listings for detached properties for week ending May the 7th. 592, it's a lot in 1 week to be listed. Active listings, the amount of detached properties available for sale, that's climbing up. We've got now 2,000. This is at the end of week ending May the 7th. It's 2,565 available for sale. And months of inventory, I would say, is holding steady. Not much change since the middle of March. We're sitting at 3.5 months of inventory, pretty much a balanced market. Here's Toronto broken down into 9 different sections. I'm not going to talk about every area, but I am going to say the whole city averages out for detached properties to 3.5 months of inventory. Scarborough sitting at 2.6 months of inventory. Scarborough is outperforming as far as activity goes and how aggressive the market is, supply and demand. At 2.6 is outperforming the whole city. East York, Riverdale beaches, it's more of, I'm not going to say just the seller's market. It's a little bit more on the extreme side at 1.6 months of inventory. High Park, Parkdale, look, there's only 10 properties sold, but based on how many are actually available for sale, we've got 2.8 months of inventory. And the average price is $1.9 million, 90%. So 9 out of those 10 properties sold at list price or more. Extremely aggressive. High Park, Parkdale, East York, Riverdale, Scarborough are the more aggressive areas. So when I say it's a balanced market, it may not feel like that in Scarborough, East York, and High Park. Here's semi-detached properties. For week ending May the 7th, 58 semi-detached properties were sold. 20 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price shot up to $1,393,000. 1,393 is 1% higher than what it was this time a year ago. The median price of 1,369 is 1% lower. Months of inventory, looks like it's climbing slightly. We're now at 2 months of inventory, and half of those semis sold at list price or more. Here's townhouses. 19 townhouses, excuse me. These are freehold townhouses, 19 sold for week ending May the 7th. 4 of those were at 1.5 million or more. You know, I'm always looking for a trend. Which way are things going? Up, down, flat? 19 were sold. We had March 26, 19 sold. Looks like sales were going up. Then they came down. It's hard to really pick a trend of what's happening. There's not many sales to begin with when we're looking at freehold townhouses. Average sold price is $1,210,000. 1,210 is 9% lower year over year. The median price of $1,032,000 is 17% lower. And months of inventory sitting at 3.1. 58% of the townhouses sold at list price or more. Here's a quick summary. This is average for the whole city. So yeah, there's going to be a balanced market if we look at detached, but you're going to have different experiences depending on your price point, the neighborhood. Same goes with semis, same goes with townhouses. So overall, we may say it's a balanced market, but the neighborhood, price point, home type, all that is going to play into what your actual experience is going to be. Thanks for watching. Go Leafs go. Have an awesome day.